Hi, welcome back to the JMeter tutorial series. In today's video, mainly we're going to discuss about how are we going to test HTTP requests using JMeter. So we already learned how do we download JMeter in the first video. In the introduction video, we discussed about how do we download JMeter, mainly how do we download, what are the installation instructions, and what are the release builds, how do we run the JMeter, and how do we launch the JMeter. Mainly to launch the JMeter, we have to change to the bin directory and click on jmeter.bat to launch the JMeter. So we will do the same thing now. Let's get into the actual topic. So we are going to test the HTTP request using JMeter. For testing the HTTP request, first we have to launch the JMeter from the bin directory, the first step. Let's do the same thing now. I am in the C directory, JMeter artifacts. I created a folder and I have unzipped it into the Apache JMeter 5.3. In that I see a bin folder. Let me open the bin folder. In the bin folder, I see jmeter.bat file. Let me open the bat file. Now click on run button. It opens the JMeter successfully now. Wait for a few seconds, then it launches JMeter now. Yes, JMeter is launched successfully. So now, once the JMeter is launched successfully, our objective is to test the first HTTP request using JMeter. So once the JMeter is launched successfully, the first and foremost thing what we have to do is we have to go to options, look and feel, change the look and feel to Windows Classic. It will be very good to view the contents of the JMeter. Just select Windows Classic. That's the first option. You have to do it. Then before you start writing any of the programs, any of the script, it is a good practice to save this file. Save as, select save as, and I select any directory you can select. So I'm selecting a directory to save this JMX file. So usually the extension of the JMeter file is JMX. It's JMX. I open JMeter examples. I just save it. Again, I'll try to replace it. It's okay, not an issue. So before I start doing any other activity, once I open JMeter, I have to save it. I saved this as first JMeter example. You can identify this information here. First JMeter example.jmx. The extension of the JMeter files is .jmx. Now, let's follow the steps as per the notepad. The notepad, we had given steps. The first step is, once we launch the JMeter from the bin directory, this is completed. We are able to launch the JMeter successfully. Then second step, to create thread group, we have to create a thread group. To create a thread group, right click on the test plan, add threads, thread group. You have to right click on the test plan. Let's do the right click on the test plan. Right click on the test plan, add threads, thread group. So this is how you're going to add a thread group in JMeter. Just select that. After that, the third step. What's the third step? To create a HTTP request, right click on the thread group, add sampler, HTTP request sampler we have to select. Let's do the same thing. Right click on the thread group, select add sampler, HTTP request we have to select. That's it. We are able to create a thread group. We're able to create a HTTP request. This one I can rename the HTTP request as coronavirus HTTP request. So we are going to do a test, a very sample test, a basic test using coronavirus APIs. Now I just give the name as coronavirus HTTP request. Click on save. The name will be updated here successfully. Then what's the next step? Then when we execute the request, we need to view the results. To view the results, right click on the HTTP request which we have created just now. Click on add listener, then view results tree. Do the same thing. Right click on the request, add listener, view results tree. That's it. We are able to create a HTTP request, but we have to test it. To test the HTTP request, we have taken one example of coronavirus example. This link has a lot of information. These are all different get methods which are available. One of the get method is get countries. Get countries. So this information is also provided. The direct link of the REST API, which is a HTTP request. See here, the protocol is HTTPS. This is the protocol. So once we get the URL, we have to break it down into different parts. This we call as protocol HTTPS. This we call as server name, or we can even call as host name. Anything is fine. What is the host name? It is api.covid19api.com. It's a server name or the host name. And the path, what's the path? The path is /countries. So if you have this information, just try to fill this information in the JMeter now. Copy this. Protocol is HTTPS. Go to JMeter, fill the information as JMeter, protocol as HTTPS, and the server name or IP or host name, anything is fine. That is api.covid19api.com. Just put this information here. And the path here, what's the path? The path is countries. Just copy this information, keep it here in JMeter. That's it. So we're able to fill all the required information. We're able to fill all the required information such as the protocol, the IP, the countries. That's it. Don't change anything. We're done. After that, just right click or just select this HTTP request. Then click on this button to execute the first JMeter HTTP request. Now, let me do that. Click on this arrow. That's it. We are done. Once we execute successfully, we can see, we can observe this green color on the right hand side will be completed successfully, and you can click on the view results tree. The view results tree, we can check the coronavirus HTTP request has been successfully executed. Click on this, and we need to understand a few information here. Very important thing we have to understand is the response code is 200. Yes, we got the response, it is 200, and also the content type is JSON. Okay, the content type is JSON. We get the response as JSON also, and also we can see the header size, sent bytes, the latency, the network latency, the connect time. So all these parameters are very important to understand from the performance perspective, how much time it is taking to test this service. We can validate each and every parameter here. And also here we have a request here. This is the request we sent it. This is the request we can send it. We sent it to the server, and this is the response data we got it by sending this request. And also we can even select here, it's a JSON format. You can select to understand we got Nepal, we got Samoa, we got Cyprus, we got different countries and related information we got it. So this is how we test HTTP requests in JMeter.